Ever wondered how our planet Earth came into existence? This question has intrigued humans for centuries, sparking our curiosity and driving scientific exploration. From the earliest philosophers to today's scientists, we've sought to understand where Earth came from and how it formed. This knowledge isn't just academic, it helps us comprehend our place in the cosmos. Knowing our planetary roots gives us insight into the miracle of our existence. Our journey to understand Earth's origin is a thrilling ride. Buckle up! Our story begins around 4.6 billion years ago with the birth of our solar system. Imagine a vast, cold and dark molecular cloud floating in the void of space. This cloud, made up of dust and gas, was the cradle of our solar system. The gas was primarily hydrogen and helium, remnants from the Big Bang, while the dust was made of heavier elements produced in the heart of ancient stars that had long since died. Then, something stirred. Perhaps it was the shock wave from a nearby supernova, or maybe the gentle tug of a passing star. But whatever it was, it triggered a gravitational collapse. The cloud began to shrink, pulled inward by its own gravity. As the cloud collapsed, it started to spin just like a figure skater pulling in her arms to spin faster. This spinning caused the cloud to flatten into a spinning disk, known as the protoplanetary disk. At the center of this disk, where the pressure and temperature were highest, our sun was born. The sun, a new star, ignited with fervor, its nuclear fires converting hydrogen into helium, releasing energy in the process. The heat and light from the sun pushed against the surrounding disk, creating a wind that swept away much of the gas and dust. What was left was a thinner disk of solid materials, things like silicates and metals that could withstand the solar wind. This disk, still spinning around the young sun, was the protoplanetary disk, the birthplace of planets. The disk was a chaotic place, filled with dust and rock swirling and colliding. Over time, these small particles began to stick together, forming larger and larger clumps. These clumps, or planetesimals, would become the building blocks of the planets. This protoplanetary disk was the stage for the birth of Earth. From this rotating disk of gas and dust, the building blocks of our planet began to form. In this chaotic swirl of matter, the early dance of creation was taking place, a ballet choreographed by the fundamental forces of the universe. The dust and gas particles, tiny actors in this cosmic drama, started to collide and stick together. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more and more snow as it goes. This snowball effect, or as scientists prefer to call it, accretion, was instrumental in the formation of planetesimals. These are essentially infant planets, small bodies of matter ranging from a few kilometers to hundreds of kilometers in diameter. The process of accretion wasn't a gentle one, though. It was violent, chaotic, and profoundly beautiful. Each collision, each merging of particles released energy, causing the surrounding material to heat up. This heat, in turn, helped to fuse the particles together, creating larger and larger clumps of matter. Over time, the planetesimals grew larger and larger, eventually becoming protoplanets. These were the adolescents of our solar system, larger than planetesimals, but not quite planets yet. They had enough gravity to influence their surroundings, causing more matter to be drawn into their gravitational pull. This growth wasn't uniform, though. Some protoplanets grew faster, some slower, some were unlucky, colliding with other large bodies and being shattered back into smaller pieces, and some, like the one destined to become our Earth, had just the right conditions to continue growing. The protoplanet that would become Earth continued to accrete more and more matter, its gravitational pull growing stronger with each passing eon. It was a tumultuous time, a time of great change and evolution. But from this chaos, order began to emerge. And so, among these protoplanets, the one destined to become Earth was taking shape. It was still a long way from the blue-green jewel we know today, but the foundations were being laid, the stage was being set for the next act in this cosmic drama. From a protoplanet to our home planet, the journey was far from simple. Let's picture a time when our Earth was just a growing protoplanet, a mere baby in the cosmic nursery. This protoplanet, our beloved Earth, was slowly but steadily growing, attracting more and more matter with its increasing gravity. It was like a cosmic snowball effect. The larger our protoplanet became, the more its gravity increased. And the more its gravity increased, the more matter it pulled in from the surrounding space. This process was far from tranquil though. As matter was pulled in, it often came crashing down with tremendous force, causing intense heat and creating an environment that was anything but hospitable. This was a period of intense heat and violent collisions. The heat was so extreme that it caused our planet to become molten, a roiling sea of liquid rock. This extreme heat had a profound effect on the structure of our growing planet. It led to a process known as differentiation, a fancy term that essentially means the separation of layers within the Earth. Due to this differentiation, heavier elements like iron and nickel sank to the center, forming the Earth's core. Meanwhile, lighter elements rose to the surface, creating the crust. This process of differentiation was crucial in forming the layered structure of the Earth as we know it today: the core, the mantle, and the crust. This was the birth of Earth, the genesis of our home. But it was far from the blue and green paradise we know and love. It was a fiery, molten world, a planet in the throes of creation, a world being shaped by the harsh realities of the universe. But remember, this was just the beginning. The Earth was born, but it was still evolving, still changing, still becoming the planet we know today. A planet capable of supporting life, a planet that we could call home. Now, our planet had formed, but it was a fiery, molten world, far from the one we know today. Earth's early days were chaotic, marked by a period known as the Late Heavy Bombardment. This was a time when our young planet was under siege. Picture a cosmic shooting gallery, a sky raining fire and devastation. For about 200 million years, between 4.1 and 3.9 billion years ago, the inner solar system was a veritable war zone. This was not a random event, but a pivotal chapter in the history of our planet. The Late Heavy Bombardment was a defining period when remnants of the early solar system, leftover planetesimals and asteroids, were flung towards the inner planets with terrifying velocity. Earth, being one of the largest targets, bore the brunt of these impacts. These violent collisions were not without consequence. They triggered seismic activities, volcanic eruptions, and drastically altered the planet's topography. But amidst this chaos, something extraordinary was about to happen. One of these impacts, far larger than the rest, resulted in an event so cataclysmic that it permanently altered Earth's destiny. A Mars-sized body, which scientists affectionately call Theia, collided with Earth. The impact was so powerful that a chunk of the Earth was ejected into space. This debris, caught in Earth's gravitational pull, didn't wander off into the void. Instead, it began to coalesce, forming a ring around our planet. And over time, this ring of debris eventually came together to form a celestial body of its own. It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? Out of a violent and chaotic event, something as beautiful and serene as our moon was born. This moon, our moon, would go on to play a pivotal role in the development of life on Earth, stabilizing our planet's wobble and creating the conditions for a stable climate. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes it's through chaos and destruction that the most beautiful things are born. With the moon in its orbit, Earth was starting to look familiar. With the major elements in place, Earth was ready for its next big step, life. Imagine a stage set with all the right props, ready for the actors to make their grand entrance. That's what Earth was like around 4 billion years ago. The atmosphere, oceans, and land were all there, but the main characters, life forms, had yet to appear. So how did life first spark into existence? One popular theory is the primordial soup theory. This suggests that Earth's early oceans were a cocktail of simple compounds. With the help of energy from sunlight or lightning, these compounds combined and recombined in countless ways, eventually forming complex molecules that could reproduce, the first step towards life. But there's another theory that's equally intriguing: panspermia. This idea proposes that life didn't start on Earth at all. Instead, it hitched a ride on a comet or meteorite from somewhere else in the cosmos. These life-bearing celestial bodies could have crash-landed on Earth, seeding it with the building blocks of life. Of course, these are just theories, and the truth might be a blend of both or something entirely different. But one thing is certain, at some point, against all odds, life did emerge from the inanimate matter, setting the stage for the incredible diversity of life we see today. And thus, from a cloud of cosmic dust and gas, our home, the Earth, was born. Have you ever wondered what lies beneath our feet deep down into the Earth? It's more than just soil and rocks. It's a fascinating world of layers and systems, each with its own unique characteristics and functions. Let's start with the crust, the Earth's outer skin. It's the part we live on, where we build our homes and plant our crops. It might seem solid and unchanging, but it's actually constantly being created and destroyed. And it's surprisingly thin, like the skin of an apple. Beneath the crust lies the mantle, a thick layer of hot, semi-solid rock. It's much thicker than the crust, stretching down about 1,800 miles. The mantle is a world of slow churning currents where heat from the Earth's core creates a process called convection. These currents move the Earth's crust like giant conveyor belts, creating mountains, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. And then there's the core. It's a mystery, a world we can't directly observe. But we know it's there, a ball of iron and nickel about 2,200 miles in diameter. It's incredibly hot, with temperatures matching those on the surface of the sun. The core is the heart of the Earth, generating a magnetic field that protects us from harmful solar radiation. But there's more. Between the crust and the mantle lies the lithosphere, a rigid layer that includes the Earth's tectonic plates. And beneath the lithosphere is the asthenosphere, a partially molten layer that the tectonic plates float on. The movements of these plates shape the Earth's surface, creating continents and oceans. So you see, the Earth isn't just a simple ball of rock. It's a complex system with layers that interact in ways that affect everything from the ground we walk on to the air we breathe. It's a world of heat and pressure, of creation and destruction, of constant change. So, the Earth is not just a chunk of rock floating in space. It's a dynamic, living system with its own inner workings. Did you know that the ground beneath us is constantly moving? Yes, it's true. Our Earth, this seemingly solid and stable planet, is actually a swirling whirlpool of motion. This movement, though imperceptible to us, is a fundamental part of Earth's design, and it's all thanks to plate tectonics. The Earth's crust, that's the part we live on, isn't one solid piece. Rather, it's broken up into a series of plates, like pieces of a fractured shell. These plates aren't merely floating on a sea of magma, but rather, they're riding atop a semi-fluid layer called the asthenosphere. It's this layer that allows the plates to move around, to jostle and jumble against each other. Now, where these plates meet, we have what are called plate boundaries, and there are three main types. First, we have convergent boundaries, where two plates collide head-on. This clash of titans can lead to the creation of mountain ranges, like the mighty Himalayas. Next, we have divergent boundaries, where two plates move apart. This separation allows magma to rise from beneath, cool, and form new crust. This is how we get the mid-ocean ridges, the longest mountain range on Earth, hidden beneath the sea. Finally, we have transform boundaries, where two plates slide past each other. This grinding and grating can cause the ground to shake, leading to what we know as earthquakes. These movements at the plate boundaries also trigger volcanic activities. When a denser oceanic plate converges with a less dense continental plate, the oceanic plate is forced down into the mantle in a process called subduction. The intense heat and pressure cause the subducted plate to melt, forming magma. This magma rises up to the surface, and voila, a volcano is born. In essence, the Earth's surface is like a giant jigsaw puzzle, constantly shifting and changing. It's an ongoing dance, a symphony of movement that has been playing out for billions of years, shaping and reshaping our world in ways we can scarcely imagine. But how did this all start? When did the Earth's crust begin to break into plates and move around? Well, unraveling the origins of plate tectonics is like piecing together a grand jigsaw puzzle of Earth's history. Scientists have proposed several theories about how this monumental process may have kicked off. One such theory revolves around the concept of mantle convection. Just like a pot of boiling soup, our Earth's mantle, the layer beneath the crust, is in a state of constant thermal motion. Hot material from the deep mantle rises toward the crust, cools down, and then sinks back, creating a cyclic pattern. These convective currents might have exerted enough force to crack the Earth's crust into moving plates. Then there's the theory of slab pull. This suggests that the sinking of a dense, cold, oceanic plate into the mantle at a subduction zone could pull the rest of the plate along with it. It's like a massive tug-of-war beneath our feet, with the sinking slab winning the pull and instigating plate motion. Now, these theories aren't just conjured out of thin air. They're backed by solid evidence. Take, for instance, the age of the ocean floor. It's younger near the mid-ocean ridges and older towards the edges. This pattern strongly supports the idea of seafloor spreading, a crucial aspect of plate tectonics. Moreover, the way fossils are distributed across different continents also provides compelling evidence. We find identical fossil species on continents that are now thousands of miles apart. This suggests that these land masses were once part of a single supercontinent and have since drifted apart due to plate tectonics. However, it's important to remember that these are theories, not definitive answers. Our understanding of Earth's past is continually evolving, much like the planet itself, so the initiation of plate tectonics is still a subject of ongoing research, with scientists piecing together clues from the Earth's past. So, why does it matter that our Earth's crust is constantly moving? Well, without this continuous shifting, our world would be unrecognizable. Plate tectonics, the grand architect behind Earth's layout, has been at work for billions of years, carving out continents and oceans, mountains and valleys. Picture the Himalayas, those towering giants. They're not just a product of plate tectonics. They are an ongoing project, rising a little each year, as the Indian plate continues to collide with the Eurasian plate. But it's not just about geography. Plate tectonics has been a driving force behind biodiversity too. How? By creating isolation. Consider the unique wildlife of Australia or the Galapagos Islands. Their one-of-a-kind inhabitants owe their existence to being cut off from the rest of the world. Plate tectonics split land masses apart, providing the stage for evolution's fascinating drama to unfold in isolation. And what about climate? Over geological timescales, the shifting of tectonic plates has had a profound influence on Earth's climate. It's created ocean currents and wind patterns, even contributed to the onset of ice ages. When continents drift towards the polar regions, they can trigger a global cooling effect, while their movement towards the equator can cause warming. Yet, this constant movement of Earth's crust can also bring catastrophe. Earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, all are the offspring of the restless dance of tectonic plates. These natural disasters remind us of the raw and relentless power of our planet, a power that's carved our world over billions of years. So plate tectonics isn't just a theory hidden in geology textbooks. It's a reality that shaped our world and continues to influence it every day, from the tallest mountains to the deepest ocean trenches, from isolated islands teeming with unique life to the very air we breathe. It's all connected to the ceaseless movement of the Earth's crust. Thus, plate tectonics plays a crucial role in shaping the world as we know it. What does the future hold for the Earth's crust? As we approach the final leg of our journey, we delve into the realm of predictions and possibilities. The future of plate tectonics isn't simply a matter of academic curiosity. It's a puzzle that holds implications for our climate, our ecosystems, and the very shape of our world. Our understanding of plate tectonics has come a long way since the days of Alfred Wegener and his theory of continental drift. Today, scientists use advanced technology and sophisticated models to track the movements of Earth's plates. These movements, slow and steady though they may be, are the architects of our world's geography. Imagine, if you will, a time machine that could transport you millions of years into the future. What would our continents look like? The answer to that question lies in the hands of plate tectonics. Using current plate movements as a guide, scientists predict future continental arrangements. These predictions, however, aren't just about landmasses moving around. They have profound implications for our planet's climate and biodiversity. Changes in the position of continents can alter ocean currents and wind patterns, influencing global climate. They can also create new habitats, driving the evolution of new species, or, conversely, lead to the extinction of others. But despite our growing understanding, there's still much we don't know. Plate tectonics is a complex, dynamic system, and predicting its future is an enormous challenge. But with each passing day, our knowledge expands, our models improve, and the picture becomes a little clearer. So, as we stand on the precipice of the unknown, we are reminded of the ever-changing nature of our planet. We are reminded that the earth beneath our feet is more than just solid ground. It's a living, breathing entity, constantly moving, constantly evolving. So, while we may not feel it, remember, the earth beneath us is always on the move, shaping and reshaping our world in ways we can't even imagine. Have you ever wondered, where did life originate from? This question has perplexed humanity for centuries, sparking debates, theories, and endless curiosity. Today, we delve into the enigma that is the origin of life, a topic that is as fascinating as it is complex. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, our planet Earth stands as a beacon of life. But how did this life first kindle? The answer to this question takes us back, way back, to over 3.5 billion years ago, to a time when Earth was a tumultuous world, far different from the one we know today. Scholars, scientists, and thinkers have proposed numerous theories about the birth of life. Some suggest it started from simple organic compounds that eventually formed complex organisms. Others speculate about panspermia, the idea that life was delivered to Earth from another part of the universe. In recent years, the study of extremophiles, organisms that thrive in extreme conditions, has added a new layer to this ongoing discussion. These hardy life forms, found in the deepest oceans and the most inhospitable environments, suggest that life is not only resilient, but also incredibly adaptable. But why is understanding the origin of life so critical? Because it helps us comprehend our own existence. It allows us to appreciate the intricate web of life, the delicate balance that sustains it, and the extraordinary journey that brought us here. Moreover, this understanding could also guide our search for life beyond Earth. If we can unravel the conditions that gave birth to life on our planet, we might be able to identify other worlds where similar scenarios could have unfolded, potentially harboring life. So, as we stand on the cusp of a new era of exploration and discovery, the question of life's origin is more pertinent than ever. It beckons us to explore, to learn, and to understand the very fabric of our existence. Today, we journey back billions of years to a time when the first sparks of life ignited. Imagine a time when Earth was nothing more than a cauldron of chemicals. Our planet, around 4 billion years ago, was a vastly different place than it is today. Picture a world enveloped in a thick, noxious atmosphere filled with gases like methane, ammonia, and water vapor. Beneath this gaseous shroud, the Earth's surface was an uninhabitable landscape of searing hot lava and vast, tumultuous oceans. This was the stage for a remarkable chemical ballet. The Earth's early atmosphere and its oceans worked together to create the primordial soup, a broth teeming with a rich array of organic compounds. With energy from the sun, lightning, and Earth's own geothermal heat, these compounds began to interact in countless ways, spinning an intricate dance of creation and destruction. Among these compounds were the essential elements of life as we know it: carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur, often abbreviated as KNOPS. These elements, in the right conditions, could form simple organic molecules such as amino acids, the building blocks of proteins that are crucial to all life forms. But how did these elements come together in the first place? The answer lies in the very stars themselves. Through the process of stellar nucleosynthesis, stars produced and distributed these elements throughout the universe. When a star dies, it explodes in a supernova, scattering its enriched guts across the cosmos. Some of these stellar remnants, over time, coalesced to form our own solar system, including Earth. So, our planet was born with the raw ingredients for life. In the primordial soup, these elements were free to combine and recombine in countless ways, powered by the raw energy of the young Earth. Over time, some of these combinations led to the formation of increasingly complex molecules, including the precursors to proteins and nucleic acids. This process wasn't quick or easy. It took hundreds of millions of years for the first primitive life forms to emerge from this cosmic soup. But emerge they did, setting in motion the grand saga of life on Earth. In this harsh and volatile environment, the stage was set for the birth of proto-life. In this prehistoric world, something extraordinary was about to happen. In the depths of our planet's primordial oceans, a marvel was unfolding. Amidst the swirling gases and minerals, the first molecules of life were beginning to form. These weren't your run-of-the-mill molecules. They were complex structures, brimming with potential. These were amino acids and nucleotides. Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, the machinery of the cell, while nucleotides form the backbone of DNA and RNA, the blueprints of life. The emergence of these two types of molecules was a turning point in Earth's history. Now, this wasn't a random occurrence. The formation of these molecules required a catalyst, a source of energy. And in this chaotic world, there were plenty of those. Flashing lightning storms and volcanic eruptions provided the spark needed to drive these chemical reactions. Imagine a lightning bolt, its energy searing through the prehistoric skies, striking the ocean and setting off a chain reaction. The heat from the lightning bolt breaks apart the simple molecules in the water, leaving behind a soup of atoms. These atoms, free to interact, start to form new bonds, creating the first amino acids and nucleotides. Volcanic activity also played a crucial role. The intense heat and pressure in the depths of the Earth, along with a rich cocktail of minerals, provided the perfect conditions for these molecules to form. And once formed, these molecules began to accumulate, slowly but surely, in the depths of the primordial oceans. The formation of these molecules was a slow process, taking millions of years, but it was a process that was unstoppable. With each passing day, the oceans grew richer in amino acids and nucleotides, setting the stage for the next step in the story of life. These simple molecules were the first step in the long journey of life. They were the pioneers, the ones who set the stage for all the complexity and diversity of life that we see today. It was from these humble beginnings that life, as we know it, began. From a sea of molecules, the first semblance of life was about to take shape. As we delve deeper into our cosmic journey, we reach a critical juncture: the formation of RNA, DNA, and proteins, the building blocks of life as we know it. Imagine a vast ocean filled to the brim with a rich concoction of molecules. Amidst this molecular maelstrom, RNA, or ribonucleic acid, makes its grand entrance. RNA is a long, single-stranded molecule capable of self-replication and catalyzing chemical reactions. Its versatility and adaptability make it a prime candidate for the first molecule of life. But the story doesn't end here. The stage was set for the arrival of a more stable double-stranded molecule, DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA, with its unique double helix structure, provides a more reliable blueprint for life. It's like a recipe book containing all the instructions needed to create a living organism. And what's a recipe without its ingredients? Enter proteins. These complex molecules, made up of chains of amino acids, are the workhorses of life. From speeding up chemical reactions to providing structure and support, proteins play a pivotal role in the functioning of all living cells. Speaking of cells, let's not forget about the creation of the first cells. Picture a tiny bubble, a vesicle, forming in the primordial soup. Within this protective shell, a dynamic world of molecules could interact and evolve, shielded from the harsh external environment. These vesicles would later evolve into the first cells, the basic units of life, thus RNA, DNA, proteins, and cells. These fundamental constituents combined in harmony, birthing a complex symphony of life from the chaos of the cosmos. Each played a vital role. Each held a piece of the puzzle, contributing to the evolution of proto-life. Just like that, from a sea of molecules, life began to take shape. From simple inanimate matter to intricate living systems, the transformation was nothing short of miraculous. This marked the dawn of a new era, an era of life. From a lifeless cauldron of chemicals to a world teeming with life, the journey is nothing short of miraculous. Let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible voyage we've just ventured through. We started with a simple question, the origin of life. A query that has puzzled and provoked humankind for eons. It's a question that's led to countless scientific explorations and discoveries. And today, we dove into one such exploration. We journeyed back billions of years to a time when Earth was still in its infancy, a fiery, volatile world with no sign of life. It was here in this inhospitable environment that the stage was set for the greatest show on Earth, the birth of life. We explored the cosmic soup, a simmering cauldron of chemicals brimming with potential. Amidst the heat and chaos, the first molecules of life began to form. These weren't living creatures as we know them, but the building blocks that would eventually give rise to life. From there, we witnessed the complex process of evolution as these simple molecules gradually developed into something more. Over time, they formed larger and more complex structures, setting the stage for the birth of proto-life. This process, spanning billions of years, is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life. From simple molecules to complex organisms, life found a way to thrive in the harshest of conditions. It's a journey that's as awe-inspiring as it is humbling, reminding us of our own origins in the grand tapestry of life. As we reflect on this journey, let's also recognize the countless mysteries that still remain. The birth of proto-life is just one chapter in the vast, intricate story of life on Earth. There are still many unexplored territories, many unanswered questions, and countless wonders waiting to be discovered. And so, the next time you look around you, remember, every living thing you see is a testament to this incredible journey, a journey that started billions of years ago with the birth of proto-life. Ever pondered upon the question, how did life on Earth originate? It's a billion-dollar question that has tickled the curiosity of humans since time immemorial. This curiosity, this fascination, is not just about the origin of life, but it's also a quest to understand ourselves, our place in the cosmos, and perhaps even our destiny. From the earliest philosophers gazing at the stars to the modern scientists peering into microscopes, the origin of life has always been a subject of wonder and intrigue. It's a question that transcends science, spilling over into philosophy, theology, and the arts. It's a question that weaves itself into the fabric of our existence, a riddle etched in the DNA of every living organism. In this video, we're embarking on a journey, a voyage of discovery to unravel this mystery. We'll take a trip back in time, billions of years into the past, to the very dawn of life on our planet. We'll explore theories and hypotheses, sift through evidence and conjecture, and piece together a story, the story of life's humble beginnings. We'll explore the primordial soup from which the first life forms might have emerged, the rise of the simple cell, the oxygen revolution, and the advent of complex life forms. We'll delve into the process of evolution, the masterpiece that has sculpted the diversity of life we see around us today. But remember, it's a journey filled with uncertainty and debate. There are gaps in our knowledge, pieces of the puzzle that are missing or yet to be discovered. But that's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it a grand adventure. So, buckle up. Get ready for a journey into the unknown, a journey into the heart of life itself. Stay tuned as we delve into the depths of the Earth's past to uncover the secrets of life's origin. Imagine Earth 4.5 billion years ago, a young planet, hostile and volatile. Our newborn Earth was a world in chaos, a fiery sphere of molten rock, constantly bombarded by meteorites, with an atmosphere filled with noxious gases like methane, ammonia, and water vapor. This was a world far removed from the one we know today, a world inhospitable and seemingly incapable of supporting life as we understand it. However, beneath this turbulent exterior, the stage was being set for the greatest show in the history of the universe, the emergence of life. In the Earth's early oceans, a rich broth was brewing, a mixture that scientists often refer to as the primordial soup. This soup was a cocktail of simple organic compounds, the basic building blocks of life. It was in this soup that the first ingredients for life were stirred together. The primordial soup theory suggests that life began in these warm, nutrient-rich waters. Powered by the energy from lightning and volcanic eruptions, these simple compounds started to combine and recombine in countless ways. Over millions of years, they formed increasingly complex molecules. Eventually, some of these molecules developed the ability to replicate themselves, an early form of reproduction. This was a slow process, a grand experiment conducted by the forces of nature over hundreds of millions of years. But gradually, the first rudimentary forms of life began to take shape. In this harsh and volatile world, where every day was a struggle for survival, life began not with a bang, but with a whisper that grew louder and stronger with each passing eon, a whisper that eventually grew into the cacophony of life we see around us today. From the depths of the primordial soup, life emerged, defying the odds in a world seemingly designed to extinguish it at every turn. Life, it seems, is tenacious, resilient, and remarkably adaptable. Surprisingly, from such hostile conditions, life found a way. Fast forward 1 billion years, and we witness the birth of the first simple cells. Imagine a world devoid of life, a barren landscape with volatile conditions. And yet, this was the stage where the story of life began. In the primordial soup of ancient Earth, molecules began to organize themselves into structures, setting the stage for the first simple cells, or prokaryotes, to come into existence. But how did this happen? Enter the process of abiogenesis, a theory that proposes life arose naturally from non-living matter, like simple organic compounds. Picture this: a world saturated with these organic compounds, subjected to energy in various forms, like lightning and intense heat. Over time, these compounds began to form complex polymers, giving birth to the building blocks of life. And then there was the RNA world hypothesis, a theory that suggests that in this early world, RNA molecules played a crucial role. RNA, or ribonucleic acid, is a molecule that has the ability to store and transmit genetic information, much like DNA does today. But what sets RNA apart is its ability to act as an enzyme and catalyze chemical reactions. In the RNA world hypothesis, these versatile RNA molecules, with their dual role as genetic carriers and chemical catalysts, were the first forms of life. They could replicate themselves, make proteins, and eventually enclose themselves within a lipid membrane, thus forming the first simple cells. These prokaryotes were the pioneers, the first to navigate the challenges of survival on a hostile planet. They learned to harness the power of their environment, to grow, to divide, and to evolve, and with each passing generation, they became more complex, more adept at survival. But this was just the beginning. These simple cells were the precursors to all life as we know it, setting the stage for a diversity of life forms that is truly mind-boggling. The stage was set, the actors were ready, and the play of evolution was about to begin. Enter stage left, the Great Oxygenation Event, a game-changer in our story. This event, which unfolded around 2.5 billion years ago, was a defining moment in the history of life on Earth. It was the time when oxygen, a gas we now can't live without, started to accumulate in our planet's atmosphere. So who do we have to thank for this life-giving change? The credit goes to a group of tiny, unassuming organisms known as cyanobacteria. These bacterial magicians had the ability to perform a process that was utterly revolutionary at the time: photosynthesis. By harnessing the power of the sun, cyanobacteria could take in carbon dioxide and water, and churn out oxygen as a byproduct. Now, imagine a world where oxygen was a rarity. This was the reality for early Earth. But as cyanobacteria thrived and multiplied, they began to pump out oxygen at an unprecedented rate. Slowly but surely, our atmosphere began to change. This was the onset of the Great Oxygenation Event. But why was this so important? Well, oxygen is a very reactive element. When it started to build up in the atmosphere, it reacted with everything it could get its hands on. This caused a massive upheaval in the Earth's chemistry and climate. It was a chaotic time, but it set the stage for something extraordinary: the evolution of complex life forms, or eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are the type of cells that make up all plants, animals, and fungi today. Unlike their simpler counterparts, eukaryotes have a nucleus and other specialized structures. They are more versatile, more adaptable, and capable of forming multicellular organisms. The rise of oxygen made this complexity possible. It provided a new kind of energy that allowed cells to grow and evolve in ways they never could before. With the rise in oxygen, life on Earth took a dramatic turn. It was a turning point that paved the way for all the biodiversity we see today, from the tallest trees to the smallest insects, from us humans to the most obscure deep-sea creatures. Oxygen, once a mere byproduct of tiny bacteria, became the lifeblood of our planet. Fast forward again to an Earth teeming with diverse life forms. We've come a long way from the humble beginnings of single-celled organisms. As time passed, these microscopic marvels began to band together, forming multicellular organisms. This was a game changer in the evolutionary playbook. It paved the way for greater complexity, diversity, and specialization. A cell in a multicellular organism could now specialize to perform a specific function, like a cog in a grand machine. And this opened up a new world of possibilities. This brings us to a pivotal moment in Earth's history: the Cambrian explosion. About 540 million years ago, there was a sudden burst in the diversity of life, like a fireworks display on a grand scale. This period saw the emergence of most of the major groups of animals that we know today. It was like nature had suddenly turned on a switch, and life began to experiment with form and function with a newfound fervor. From the depths of the ocean to the highest peaks, life had now claimed every corner of the Earth. The plant kingdom was flourishing, and the animal kingdom was evolving at a rapid pace. Insects, fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals all began to take their respective shapes. But among all these diverse forms of life, one species stood out. Yes, we're talking about humans. From our first bipedal steps on the African savanna, we've come a long way. We've used our intelligence and ingenuity to shape the world around us, to question, to create, to dream. We've built civilizations, explored the cosmos, and unraveled the mysteries of life itself. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of life's journey from non-existence to existence. From single cells to complex organisms, from the depths of the oceans to the stars above, life's story is a testament to the power of evolution, the ultimate masterpiece of time. Let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey we've just embarked upon. We traveled from the early Earth's harsh conditions to the rise of simple and complex cells, witnessed the oxygen revolution that led to a biological explosion, and finally, the evolution of multicellular organisms. We've seen how life's story is a testament to the power of evolution and the persistence of life. Have you ever wondered how we, as complex organisms, came to exist on Earth? This intriguing question takes us back billions of years to the first stage of evolution, abiogenesis, the birth of life from non-living matter. Imagine the early Earth, a young planet teeming with potential yet devoid of life. Its surface was a simmering pot of chemical reactions, a primeval soup, if you will. This soup was not the kind you'd want to dip your spoon into, but it was rich in simple organic molecules, the building blocks of life. Over time, in this dynamic environment, these molecules began to interact with each other. They combined in myriad ways, driven by the forces of nature. Amidst this chaos, something remarkable happened. Some of these molecules came together to form more complex structures. These were not living organisms, not yet, but they were much more than mere molecules. They were the precursors to life as we know it. These complex structures, or protocells as they're called, were like tiny bubbles of organic material. They had an outer layer or membrane that separated them from their surroundings, much like the cells in our bodies do today. And within these protocells, chemical reactions took place, similar to the metabolic processes that occur within living cells. Now, these protocells were not perfect. They were fragile, and many of them didn't last long. But over countless generations, through the relentless process of trial and error, some of these protocells became more stable, more efficient, and more resilient. They began to replicate, passing on their successful traits to their offspring. And so, the first true cells were born. These cells were the pioneers, the trailblazers of life on Earth. They paved the way for all the diverse forms of life that would follow, from the tiniest bacteria to the largest dinosaurs, and yes, even us humans. The creation of these first cells marked the end of the initial stage of evolution, setting the stage for the second phase to begin. From a world of simple cells, the stage was set for a leap in complexity. Our journey into the second stage of life's evolution takes us to a time when single-celled organisms began to take on more complex forms. Picture these primordial life forms, microscopic yet brimming with potential. As the eons passed, they began to acquire new features, transforming from simple blobs into intricate, self-contained universes. One of the key developments was the formation of the nucleus, a specialized compartment within the cell. Inside this nucleus, the cell's DNA, the blueprint of life, found a protective home. This was a game changer, for it allowed for better regulation of genetic material, enabling cells to control their growth and reproduction more effectively. But the nucleus wasn't the only innovation. Other organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts also made their debut. Mitochondria, often dubbed the powerhouses of the cell, facilitated efficient energy processing. They broke down nutrients, converting them into a form of energy the cell could use to carry out its functions. Chloroplasts, on the other hand, opened up a new way of life entirely. Found in plant cells, they harnessed the power of the sun, converting light energy into chemical energy through the process of photosynthesis. This allowed cells to make their own food, a development that would pave the way for the emergence of plants and ultimately the green world we see today. These advancements may seem small in the grand scheme of things, but consider this. Every creature, from the tiniest ant to the largest whale, owes its existence to these humble beginnings. These complex, single-celled organisms were the precursors to all life as we know it. So why are these developments so important? Because they set the stage for more complex forms of life. By improving their ability to process energy, these cells could perform more functions, grow larger, and eventually team up to form multicellular organisms. These advancements in single-celled organisms were significant, but the true marvel of the second stage of evolution was yet to come. How did life make the jump from single cells to complex multicellular organisms? Let's delve into this intriguing question. The evolution of multicellularity is a key feature of the second stage of evolution. It marks a significant shift in the history of life on Earth. But how did this leap from the simplicity of single cells to the complexity of multicellular organisms occur? Well, it all began with single cells that started to work together, forming colonies. Imagine a group of individuals deciding to live together for mutual benefit. That's exactly what happened here. These single cells, possibly driven by the harsh realities of their environment, started to cooperate, forming the first multicellular colonies. Over time, these colonies began to specialize. Cells in the center of the colony may have focused on reproduction, while those on the outside protected the colony and absorbed nutrients. This division of labor allowed the colony to function more efficiently. Now, you might ask, what was the advantage of this? Here's where it gets interesting. Multicellularity offered a slew of benefits. First, it allowed for increased size. Larger organisms were more likely to survive predation and had a higher chance of getting nutrients. Second, multicellularity opened the door to complexity. With more cells to work with, organisms could evolve specialized structures and systems like hearts, lungs, and brains. that are impossible in single-celled organisms. But perhaps the most profound advantage of multicellularity was the ability to evolve. With more cells, there were more opportunities for genetic variation, which is the raw material for evolution. This meant that multicellular organisms could adapt more rapidly to changing environments, giving them a significant survival advantage. In essence, the leap from single cells to multicellular organisms was a game changer in the evolution of life. It was like going from a solo musician to an orchestra, with each member playing a different instrument, yet harmoniously contributing to the symphony of life. The evolution of multicellularity set the stage for the diversity of life we see today. The world of life as we know it owes a lot to this pivotal point in the long tale of evolution. The stage was set, and life was about to take off in a big way. Picture this, an epoch around 540 million years ago, a period so remarkable, it's been dubbed the Cambrian explosion. In the grand play of life, this was the moment when the curtains rose and the stage was flooded with a dazzling array of new characters. During the Cambrian explosion, life on Earth diversified at an unprecedented pace. In a relatively short span of about 20 to 25 million years, most of the major groups of animals that we recognize today made their first appearance. It was as if life had suddenly received a shot of adrenaline and evolution hit the fast-forward button. So what sparked this biological Big Bang? Scientists have proposed several theories. Some suggest that it was driven by a dramatic increase in oxygen levels, providing the energy needed for more complex life forms. Others point to the evolution of vision, which may have triggered an arms race between predator and prey, spurring rapid diversification. Another theory posits that the development of hard shells and exoskeletons opened up new ecological niches and survival strategies. Regardless of the precise causes, the Cambrian explosion was a game changer. The simple, single-celled organisms of the past gave way to a world teeming with diverse, multi-celled creatures. The ocean floors, once the domain of slow-moving, soft-bodied life forms, became bustling metropolises, hosting everything from trilobites and brachiopods to the first primitive ancestors of fishes. This explosion of life also marked a turning point in evolutionary history. It laid the groundwork for the development of complex ecosystems and the intricate web of life that we see today. From the smallest insects to the largest mammals, from the depths of the oceans to the heights of the skies, the legacy of the Cambrian explosion is all around us. The Cambrian explosion marked the end of the second stage of evolution, paving the way for the complex life forms that would follow. The second stage of evolution was a time of great change, paving the way for the diversity of life we see today. It was a period marked by a series of groundbreaking shifts, setting the stage for the development of complexity and diversity we now witness in the biosphere. Let's take a moment to look back on these key transformative moments. We started with the origins of life, where simple single-celled organisms were the only inhabitants of our planet. These humble beginnings were the very foundation of life itself. They were the pioneers, the first life forms to navigate the uncharted territory of existence. Then, we delved into the era of single-celled organisms. These tiny entities were not just surviving, they were thriving, evolving and adapting, laying the groundwork for all life that would follow. They developed a variety of survival strategies, from photosynthesis to cellular respiration, setting the stage for the complexity of life we see today. Next, we journeyed through the evolution of multicellularity. This was a significant turning point in the history of life. Here, cells began to work together, forming larger organisms with specialized functions. This cooperative venture allowed for the emergence of complex life forms, paving the way for plants, animals, and eventually, us. Finally, we explored the explosion of life, a period of rapid diversification and adaptation. Life forms began to fill every available niche, from the deepest ocean trenches to the highest mountain peaks. This was a time of unprecedented biological innovation and creativity, with new species emerging at an unprecedented rate. From these humble beginnings, life has journeyed through billions of years of evolution, continually adapting, innovating, and diversifying. It's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of life, a story of survival against all odds. From single cells to complex multicellular organisms, the second stage of evolution was a pivotal period in the history of life on Earth. It's a story that continues to unfold, a journey that we are all a part of, and it's a journey that is far from over. Have you ever pondered the mysteries of life, its complex diversity, and the very essence of its evolution? Today, we delve into the fascinating world of life's evolution, specifically exploring the third stage, a stage that is as intriguing as it is enlightening, a period that has shaped life as we know it today. The story of evolution is a saga that spans billions of years, a tale that takes us back to a time when Earth was but a barren sphere. Life on Earth, as we understand it, has evolved through several stages. Today, our focus is on the third stage of evolution, an epoch that saw a dramatic transformation in life forms. Before we dive into the third stage, it's crucial to set the stage, to understand what led us here. The first stage of evolution saw the formation of simple organic compounds. The second stage, on the other hand, witnessed the birth of simple life forms, single-celled organisms that laid the foundation of life on Earth. Now, we arrive at the third stage. This phase of evolution is marked by the advent of multicellularity. It was during this period that life forms began to evolve from single-celled organisms into more complex, multicellular entities. This was a significant turning point in evolutionary history, as it paved the way for the development of complex organisms and eventually the rich biodiversity we see today. The third stage of evolution was not a rapid process. It was a slow and gradual transformation that took millions of years. Life forms didn't suddenly morph from single cells into complex organisms. Instead, they slowly accumulated changes, generation after generation, gradually evolving into multicellular life forms. The transition to multicellularity was not just about increasing in size or complexity. It was a fundamental shift in the way life functioned. It allowed for specialization, where different cells could perform different tasks, leading to the development of tissues, organs, and entire organ systems. Now, to summarize, the third stage of evolution marked the transition from single-celled organisms to multicellular life forms. This was a slow and gradual process that took millions of years. The advent of multicellularity allowed for specialization, leading to the development of complex organisms and the rich biodiversity we see today. The third stage of evolution is a testament to the incredible adaptability and resilience of life on Earth. It is a remarkable chapter in the grand story of evolution, a story that continues to unfold even as we speak. Remember, the story of life is a story of constant change, of evolution and adaptation. Life, as we know it, is a product of billions of years of evolution, a journey that is as fascinating as it is intricate. Have you ever wondered how life on Earth exploded into a vast array of complex organisms over a relatively short period? Our planet's history holds many secrets, and one of the most enigmatic events is the Cambrian explosion. Well, welcome to the mysterious world of the Cambrian explosion. The curtain of history rises about 540 million years ago. This period, known as the Cambrian explosion, is a pivotal chapter in Earth's unfolding saga. But before we delve into the intricacies of this era, let's take a step back to the pre-Cambrian times, where life was simple and less diverse. The Precambrian era was a time of unicellular organisms, with life forms primarily being bacteria and algae. But as the pages of time turned, something extraordinary happened. A shift, a transformation, a true explosion of life. The Cambrian explosion, aptly named, witnessed an unprecedented burst of evolutionary changes. In a geological blink of an eye, a multitude of complex, multicellular organisms materialized. The oceans teemed with life as creatures with shells, eyes, limbs, and even the beginnings of brains began to dominate the seascape. In this era, life on Earth took a dramatic turn, paving the way for an evolutionary leap. Imagine a world dominated by simple, unicellular organisms suddenly bursting into a myriad of complex life forms. In a blink of the geological eye, the Earth's biosphere underwent a dramatic transformation. It was a time of extraordinary change, a time when life as we know it began to take shape. This period, around 540 million years ago, marked a significant turning point in the history of life on Earth. Before this epoch, life on our planet was relatively simple, composed primarily of unicellular organisms. The world was a vast, silent ocean, teeming with microbial life. But as we journeyed into the Cambrian period, a profound shift occurred. The world's oceans began to swirl with an array of previously unseen complex creatures. This was the dawn of multicellular organisms, a significant leap in the complexity of life. The Cambrian period was notable for the emergence of various animal phyla, a term used to categorize a broad range of animal groups. In essence, the blueprint for all animal life that we see today was laid down during this time. From the tiniest insects to the largest mammals, their primitive ancestors can be traced back to the Cambrian period. One of the most striking features of this period was the appearance of hard-bodied organisms. For the first time, creatures with hard shells and exoskeletons began to populate the Earth's oceans. This was a major evolutionary innovation, providing these organisms with much-needed protection against predators and the harsh conditions of the ancient world. This development not only increased their chances of survival, but also left a lasting imprint in the fossil record, granting us a glimpse into this fascinating period of Earth's history. In a relatively short span of time, the Earth went from a world of microbial simplicity to a planet buzzing with complex life. This dramatic increase in biodiversity, this sudden proliferation of new, varied and complex life forms was nothing short of remarkable. This sudden burst of life forms is what we now refer to as the Cambrian explosion. So, what caused this sudden burst of life forms? A question that has puzzled scientists for decades and led to the proposal of numerous theories to explain the Cambrian explosion. Let's delve into a few of these fascinating theories. First up, the oxygen theory. This theory suggests that an increase in oxygen levels in the Earth's atmosphere and oceans could have been the catalyst for the Cambrian explosion. Oxygen is vital for complex life, and it's theorized that once oxygen levels reached a certain threshold, it allowed for the rapid diversification and growth of multicellular organisms. Next, we have the evolution of predation theory. This theory posits that the development of predation, the act of hunting and feeding on other organisms, triggered an evolutionary arms race. This led to an explosion in the variety of life forms as prey species evolved different strategies to avoid predation, and predators, in turn, evolved new ways to catch them. Perhaps one of the most intriguing theories is the light switch theory, also known as the evolution of eyesight. It suggests that the development of eyesight among organisms played a significant role in the Cambrian explosion. The ability to see opened up a whole new world of opportunities, leading to the development of new behaviors and survival strategies. Predators could now actively hunt their prey, and prey could see danger and escape before it was too late. It's important to note that these theories are not mutually exclusive. It's entirely possible and even likely that a combination of these factors, and perhaps others we have yet to discover, contributed to the Cambrian explosion. While scientists continue to debate, each theory provides a fascinating insight into this period of rapid evolution. So while we may not have a definitive answer just yet, these theories certainly give us a glimpse into the incredible diversity and complexity of life on Earth during the Cambrian period. The Cambrian explosion had a profound impact on Earth's biodiversity. Imagine a burst of life, a sudden, dramatic proliferation of species. That's what happened around 540 million years ago during the Cambrian explosion. This period was a veritable fireworks display of evolution where the pace of diversification accelerated at an unprecedented rate. You see, before the Cambrian explosion, life on Earth was relatively simple. Organisms were mostly soft-bodied and microscopic. But with the advent of the Cambrian period, things started to change. Life began to experiment with new forms, structures, and ways of living. It was as if nature had suddenly found the keys to a vast genetic toolbox. The Cambrian explosion led to the development of almost all modern animal phyla. That's the broadest category of classification in the animal kingdom. From arthropods to mollusks, from vertebrates to echinoderms, all these groups trace their roots back to the Cambrian period. It was during this time that animals began to develop hard shells, exoskeletons, and other physical features that allowed them to adapt and thrive in different environments. Moreover, the Cambrian period set the course for evolution on Earth. It established the foundation for the ecological interactions we see today. Predators and prey, competitors and collaborators, all these relationships began to take form during this period. The Cambrian explosion also marked the beginning of sexual reproduction, a key driver of genetic diversity and evolutionary change. So, why is all of this important? Because understanding the Cambrian explosion helps us appreciate the complexity and diversity of life on Earth. It reminds us of the intricate web of interactions that underpin our ecosystems. It tells us that life, in its myriad forms, is a product of millions of years of evolutionary experimentation and adaptation. In essence, the Cambrian explosion was a major turning point in Earth's biological history. It was a time of rapid change, of trial and error, of life finding its myriad ways. And its echoes can still be heard today, in the rustle of leaves, the hum of insects, and the beat of our own hearts. So, the Cambrian explosion was a pivotal moment in the history of life on Earth. This isn't just a simple statement. It's a fact that is echoed across the annals of evolutionary biology and paleontology. Let's take a quick journey back through the key points we've covered today to truly appreciate the magnitude of this event. We started our journey around 540 million years ago during the Cambrian period. It was during this time that life on Earth took a dramatic and sudden turn. Imagine, over a relatively short span of just 20 to 25 million years, the biological diversity on our planet skyrocketed. This period witnessed an unprecedented proliferation of multicellular organisms, marking a significant departure from the largely unicellular life forms that dominated the pre-Cambrian era. We delved into the theories that attempt to explain this sudden burst of life. Was it a result of increased oxygen levels in the atmosphere, providing the fuel for more complex life forms? Or perhaps the advent of predation triggering an evolutionary arms race? Maybe it was the development of vision, transforming the way organisms interacted with their environment. It's likely a combination of these factors and possibly others we've yet to discover. The Cambrian explosion wasn't just about quantity, it was about quality too. This era did not just give rise to more organisms, it birthed an incredible array of diverse and complex life forms. This was when the major animal phyla, as we know them today, first appeared. From the tiniest microorganisms to the largest marine creatures, the Cambrian seas were teeming with life, the likes of which had never been seen before. The ripples of this explosion are still felt today. It set the stage for the evolution of all subsequent life on Earth, including us, humans. The biodiversity that sprang forth during the Cambrian period forms the foundation of the intricate web of life that we are a part of today. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that while the Cambrian explosion was a significant event, it's not the end-all, be-all of evolutionary history. There are still many questions to be answered, many mysteries to be solved, but it undeniably holds a key to understanding the rich tapestry of life on our planet. While the Cambrian explosion remains a fascinating mystery, it undeniably holds the key to understanding the evolutionary history of life on our planet.
Have you ever wondered how we, as human beings, came to look as we do now? This question, seemingly simple, unravels a myriad of complex answers that delve deep into the realms of science, history, and mystery. It is an exploration into the evolution of our appearance and civilization, a story that traces our roots back millions of years. So, buckle up as we embark on this intriguing journey of human evolution, a fascinating tale that combines science, history, and a bit of mystery. Our story begins millions of years ago in the period known as the Paleolithic era, an epoch that saw the rise of the very first hominids, our most ancient ancestors. These hominids began to separate themselves from the rest of the animal kingdom not through physical prowess, but through a burgeoning intellect. Consider the Australopithecus, an early hominid species that roamed the earth roughly 4 million years ago. While physically they shared many similarities with other primates, their larger brain size set them apart. This increased cognitive capability allowed them to begin using tools, marking an essential step in human evolution. Fast forward 1 million years and we meet Homo habilis, aptly named handyman. They were the first species to truly master the art of toolmaking. Using sharp-edged rocks, they could cut, scrape, and dig, tasks that would have been near impossible with bare hands. This use of tools represented a significant shift in the evolution of early humans, showing a clear progression in cognitive ability. Another leap forward in our evolutionary journey brings us to Homo erectus. Around 2 million years ago, this species showcased an even larger brain and a more human-like body structure. Homo erectus were not just tool users, but tool innovators, crafting more complex tools for hunting and gathering. Moreover, they were the first hominids to harness the power of fire, transforming not just their diet but their entire way of life. These early hominids, each with their unique contributions, were not the end of the evolutionary line, but rather the beginning. They were the instigators of a chain of evolution that would ultimately lead to us, Homo sapiens. The physical changes are certainly significant, but it is the rapid evolution of the brain that truly sets us apart. These early hominids were the pioneers paving the way for the evolution of the Homo sapiens. They laid the groundwork for everything we as a species have become, from the simple act of using a tool to harnessing fire to creating complex societies. Our existence today is a testament to these early pioneers of human evolution. Fast forward to approximately 300,000 years ago, the Homo sapiens made their grand entrance. Emerging from the cradle of humanity, Africa, these beings were a new breed, a significant upgrade from their predecessors, Homo erectus. Homo sapiens, or wise man as they are aptly named, were a turning point in the grand tapestry of evolution. They stood taller, with a more upright posture. Their brains were larger, more complex, leading to increased cognitive abilities. But perhaps the most striking feature was their face. It was flatter, with a prominent forehead and a less protruding jaw, a layout we would recognize in the mirror today. These physical attributes were not just for show. They were instrumental in their survival and dominance. The upright posture freed their hands, enabling tool use and crafting. The larger brains led to superior problem-solving skills, creativity, and the capacity for abstract thought. This cognitive revolution allowed for the development of language, art, and culture, features that distinguished Homo sapiens from any other species. But Homo sapiens didn't remain confined to Africa. Driven by their innate curiosity and adaptability, they embarked on a grand journey, migrating across continents and seas. They populated Asia, Europe, and eventually every corner of the world. Wherever they went, they adapted to the climate, the terrain, the flora, and the fauna, showcasing an unparalleled versatility. Their journey was not without challenges. They encountered other human species, like the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. But with their superior cognitive abilities and social structures, Homo sapiens outcompeted, interbred with, or maybe even outlasted these other species. This was the birth of Homo sapiens, a milestone in the journey of life on Earth. From their humble beginnings in Africa, they have come to inhabit every corner of the globe, shaping the world as we know it. With their superior cognitive abilities, Homo sapiens were able to dominate the planet. With the rise of Homo sapiens, the stage was set for the dawn of civilization. Our ancestors, the Homo sapiens, began to do something no other species had done before. They transitioned from a nomadic lifestyle, constantly on the move in search of food and shelter, to settled communities. This shift from hunter-gatherer societies to settled farming communities is what we refer to as the Neolithic Revolution. With the advent of agriculture, humans could produce food in abundance and sustain larger populations, leading to the growth of villages and towns. But it didn't stop there. As these communities grew, so did their complexity and sophistication, leading to the birth of early civilizations. Let's take a moment to journey back in time to some of the first civilizations that sprouted around the world. In the fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, we find Mesopotamia, often referred to as the cradle of civilization. Here, city-states like Ur and Babylon flourished, pioneering advances in writing, law, and architecture. Traveling westward along the Nile, we reach the grand civilization of Egypt. Known for their monumental pyramids and hieroglyphic writing, the Egyptians developed a culture rich in art, religion, and science. Further east, in the vast plains of the Indus Valley, another civilization emerged. With carefully planned cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, the Indus Valley civilization exhibited remarkable urban planning and hydraulic engineering. Finally, let's turn our gaze to the east, where the ancient Chinese civilization rose along the Yellow River. Here, they invented paper, gunpowder, the compass, and made significant contributions to art, literature, and philosophy. Each of these civilizations, though separated by vast distances and developed independently, shared common characteristics. They had organized governments, complex religions, job specialization, social structure, and they all made significant contributions to human knowledge and culture. These civilizations marked a significant shift in human lifestyle and social structure. They laid the foundations for the world as we know it today, and their legacies continue to shape our present and future. From the early civilizations to the modern era, humans have continued to evolve and adapt. As we journey from the ancient world to the present day, we see how human beings have significantly transformed, both physically and socially. The evolution of diet, for instance, has played a significant role in shaping the modern human. From hunter-gatherers who relied on wild plants and animals, we have moved to an era of fast food and genetically modified crops. This shift in diet has not only influenced our physical health, but also our appearance, with humans now taller and more robust than our ancestors. Climate too has been a constant influencer. As humans migrated to different parts of the globe, our bodies adapted to the new environments. Skin color, for instance, varies with the intensity of sunlight. Those living closer to the equator develop darker skin as a protection against the intense sunlight, while those in regions with less sun have lighter skin. This is a perfect example of how our bodies have evolved to survive in different climates. Yet, perhaps the most profound changes have come from the advent of technology. The internet and smartphones have revolutionized the way we live, work, and interact. We have become a global village, connected by the click of a button. This has not only transformed our social structures, but also influenced our physical health. Sedentary lifestyles, a byproduct of our digital age, have led to an increase in obesity and related health issues. In the realm of societal changes, the evolution has been equally dramatic. We've moved from tribal societies to complex civilizations with intricate social structures. Democracy, human rights, and equality are principles that are now widely accepted and defended. Yet, despite the physical and societal changes, we remain intrinsically linked to our past. Our DNA carries the imprints of our ancestors, a testament to the journey of human evolution. Despite these changes, we continue to carry the legacy of our ancestors in our genes. Our journey through time has brought us from the dawn of human evolution to the modern era. We've traversed the span of millions of years, witnessing the extraordinary transformation of early hominids into the Homo sapiens we recognize today. An intricate dance of adaptation and survival etched in the bones of our ancestors and reflected in our very DNA. We've journeyed through the age of early civilizations where the seeds of culture, language, and society were first sown. These were the building blocks that have shaped our world, the pillars upon which our contemporary life stands. The intricate tapestry of human civilization, rich with the colors of countless cultures, is a testament to our collective ingenuity and resilience. And then, we've seen the advent of the modern human, with our distinct appearances and complex lifestyles. It's fascinating to see how much we've changed, and yet, how much we've remained the same. Our primal instincts, our innate curiosity, our capacity for empathy and cooperation. These are the threads that bind us to our past, even as we stride confidently towards the future. As we close this chapter of our narrative, let's not forget that the story of humanity is still being written. Every day, we're making history, shaping the world with our thoughts, actions, and dreams. As we continue to evolve and adapt, one can only wonder what the future holds for the human race.
Have you ever pondered what future holds for our home, the Earth? This is not a question to be brushed off lightly. It's a thought-provoking query that invites us to delve deep into the realm of possibilities, probabilities, and predictions that shape our understanding of what lies ahead. The future of our Earth and its environment is a topic that holds immense importance. It is not just about the survival of our species, but about the well-being of the entire biosphere. It's about the oceans that cover more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface, the forests that produce the oxygen we breathe, the diverse species that inhabit our world, and the climate that governs it all. It's about understanding the intricate balance of this complex system and how our actions today will determine the state of this balance in the future. Today, we embark on a journey to explore a timeline of predicted future events related to Earth's environment. We delve into the realm of scientific predictions, extrapolations based on current trends, and hypotheses drawn from our understanding of the natural world and our place in it. This journey is not a forecast of doom and gloom, nor is it a utopian vision of the future. It is a balanced and realistic exploration of what the future might hold based on what we know and understand today. As we navigate through this journey, we'll explore the near future, the distant future, and the role humanity might play in shaping this future. We'll delve into the scientific, environmental, and societal aspects of the Earth's future and try to paint a picture that is as comprehensive as it is fascinating. As we journey into this discussion, remember, the future isn't written in stone, but a prediction based on current trends and data. It is a canvas on which we, as a collective species, have the power to paint. It is a story that is yet to be written, a story where the pen is in our hands. Scene script. Imagine the Earth a decade from now. What changes in environment do scientists predict? Well, the crystal ball of science has been busy decoding the future, and the forecast is a mix of concern and hope. As we journey into the next 10 to 50 years, the planet will see some significant environmental changes. One of the most prominent is the rise in global temperatures. Yes, the Earth is getting hotter, and it's not just about sweltering summers or mild winters. This rise in temperature is reshaping the world as we know it. As the mercury rises, the ice at the poles is melting, and at an alarming rate. Imagine vast landscapes of ice, shrinking, breaking apart, vanishing. This is not a scene from a dystopian movie, but a reality we are inching towards. As the ice caps melt, they add to the volume of our oceans, leading to increasing sea levels. This isn't good news for coastal cities and island nations, which could find themselves partially submerged in the coming decades. But the story doesn't end with cities going under. The ripple effects of these changes are far more profound. The loss of ice caps also means the loss of habitats for many species, leading to a significant impact on biodiversity. Some species may adapt, some may move, but some may not survive at all. The intricate web of life as we know it is under threat. Yet, even as we stand on the brink of these changes, we remain hopeful. The future may be challenging, but it is not set in stone. These predictions are based on current trends, and trends can be changed. It's a call to action, a push for us to rethink our relationship with the Earth. While these changes seem alarming, they are not the end of the story. Let's delve further into the future. Fast forward to a century from now. What might the Earth's environment look like? Imagine it's the 22nd century. You're standing at the edge of what was once a lush, vibrant forest, but now all you see is a vast barren land stretching as far as the eye can reach. This is the reality of large-scale desertification, a predicted environmental change in the distant future. It's the process where fertile land becomes desert, typically as a result of drought, deforestation, or inappropriate agriculture. This isn't just an isolated incident, it's happening everywhere. From the Amazon rainforest, a vibrant hub of biodiversity, to the lush green expanses of Africa, these once thriving ecosystems could become lifeless deserts, potentially within the next few centuries. But the changes aren't limited to the land. Our oceans, the Earth's blue heart, are also at risk. The increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is leading to ocean acidification. This means our oceans are becoming more acidic, which can have devastating effects on marine life, particularly shellfish and coral reefs. These organisms struggle to build their shells and skeletons in acidic conditions, threatening their survival and the rich biodiversity that depends on them. The ripple effects of these changes could lead to the potential loss of certain species. From the smallest insects to the largest mammals, no creature is immune to the drastic changes in their habitats. Species that have been with us for millions of years might not make it to the next century. The distant future might seem like a desolate place, a world much different from the one we know today. But it's important to remember, these are predictions, not certainties. There's still time for us to change the course, to ensure that the Earth of the future is a place where life can thrive, not just survive. The distant future may seem bleak, but remember, these are predictions, not certainties. The question arises, what role does humanity play in this future? To understand our role, we must first acknowledge the significant impact we've had on our planet. Our actions, both positive and negative, have shaped the environment in profound ways. On one hand, we've seen the detrimental effects of pollution and deforestation, activities that have scarred the Earth and threatened its biodiversity. The rise in global temperatures, the melting of polar ice caps, and the alarming rate of species extinction are all stark reminders of our negative influence. On the other hand, we've also witnessed the power of human ingenuity in addressing these issues. Conservation efforts across the globe have resulted in the restoration of forests, the cleaning of rivers, and the protection of endangered species. The shift towards renewable energy sources, like wind and solar power, has shown us that sustainable living is not only possible, but also economically viable. These positive actions are proof that we are not just the cause of the problems, but also the solution. But what does this mean for the future? It means that we, as a species, have the potential to alter the predicted timeline. Our actions today will determine the state of the Earth tomorrow. If we continue down the path of environmental destruction, we may hasten the onset of a bleak future. But if we choose to act responsibly, to conserve our resources and protect our biodiversity, we can pave the way for a sustainable future. We must remember that we are not separate from nature. We are a part of it, interconnected in ways that we are only beginning to understand. Our survival is tied to the health of the Earth, and so we must treat it not as a resource to be exploited, but as a home to be cared for. In the grand scheme of things, humanity is but a brief chapter in the Earth's long history. But the impact of that chapter, whether positive or negative, is entirely up to us. Humanity holds the power to shape the Earth's future. What we do today impacts our tomorrow. So, what have we learned from this exploration of Earth's possible future? We've embarked on a thought-provoking journey, a journey into the realm of possibilities, a voyage into the future of our home, Earth. We started by imagining the near future, a time not too far from our own. We envisioned a world where environmental changes become more pronounced. We pictured rising sea levels, increasing global temperatures, and the consequential shift in biodiversity. These changes, as we learned, are not mere conjectures, but predictions based on scientific data and models. As we ventured further into the distant future, the landscape of Earth changed dramatically. We explored scenarios where the sun's increasing luminosity could cause oceans to evaporate, leading to a runaway greenhouse effect. We imagined Earth possibly encountering a fate similar to Venus, a world shrouded in thick, impenetrable clouds of carbon dioxide. But remember, these are potential outcomes not set in stone. This brings us to the most important part of our journey, the role of humanity. We are not just passive observers in this narrative. We are the protagonists, the ones with the power to shape the story. Our actions today can and will influence the future of Earth. The environmental changes we're witnessing are largely a result of human activities, and it's within our power to alter their course. We have the capacity to mitigate the effects of global warming, to protect biodiversity, and to ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. We can harness renewable energy, promote sustainable agriculture, and make conscious decisions to reduce our carbon footprint. We can influence policy change, educate ourselves and others, and innovate solutions for the challenges we face. Our journey into the future of Earth has shown us that the power of human action is immense. It's a call to action, a reminder that we hold the pen that writes the story of our planet's future. The future of Earth is in our hands. It's time to act.